Do you have a child, perhaps?
Beggars Banquet, the penultimate episode of MobLand Season 1, Episode 9, confronts the reality that the series is coming to an end. Although it appears that everyone must remain hunkered, characters are free to come and go as they choose in MobLand, where we have been holed up in the Cotswolds for ages. Conrad, Pierce Brosnan, may boast, but it seems that the only consequences of defying a guy who is frequently referred to as the devil are nasty stares and unfulfilled threats. But in MobLand, that's the way it is. Just as the plotlines gain significance in one episode, characters depart and return to the Cotswolds as they see fit, just to vanish once more. Conrad is only now bringing up his fentanyl notion with the Mexicans in Episode 9, so there hasn't been much real progress. The pilot for the series introduced fentanyl. If the climaxes in Beggars Banquet are any indication, Season 1 could conclude in a variety of ways, none of which will likely provide satisfying resolutions. Kevin's childhood trauma. Storyline is mishandled. Going over every plot detail in MobLand at this stage is not worth it. Despite their intersections, none of them appear to be more significant than the others, and they are not genuinely connected in any manner. Although they should supposedly be connected, Richie's Jeff Bell encounter with the cops feels quite separate from Harry's, Tom Hardy, encounter with Kat, Janet McTeer. Some of the plots are considerably further away. For instance, Bella's, Laura Pulver, scheme involving her father and Syrian arms dealers. MobLand insists on regularly displaying in distressing detail Kevin's, Paddy Considine's search for revenge over his sexual assault, but this is a whole other show. Considine has risen to the more complicated narrative, while Kevin has had more work to do than anyone else in MobLand because of this related plot. However, the way the story is handled poorly is a bad indication of what will happen in the conclusion. Kevin confronts the man who raped him while he is incarcerated, but the sequence is handled so awkwardly that I am not even certain that this charming man from London was Kevin's attacker. The plot and tone of the scene are incredibly unclear. Even when Kevin shoots the old man, it's almost a sinister joke. It's unbelievable that Kevin's painful journey is coming to a close, but it seems inconceivable that they would find the time to revisit it in any significant way with only one episode left. There are never any lasting ramifications in MobLand. Beggars Banquet doesn't get much better toward the conclusion. MobLand has spent the entire season attempting to be this dinner scenario. It's meant to be both tense and morbidly humorous, but the characters aren't strong enough to carry that out. Harry sits at the end of the table and hardly speaks, but Tom Hardy could lead a scenario like the one they're aiming for. Many of the images don't even feature him. Rather, we concentrate on John, Joanne Froggatt, Conrad, Maeve, Helen Mirren, and their honored guest Alice, Emily Barber. Jan is quiet because she is frightened, and Alice, who has been an exceptionally skilled undercover agent since we first saw her, finds it difficult to maintain her disguise after being asked a single pointed question. The only characters remaining are Maeve and Conrad, both of whom I am increasingly certain are terribly miscast. It's an awkward evening, and not in the way MobLand intended. They yell, brawl, shatter bottles, and make unfunny jokes. To top it all off, Maeve and Conrad reconcile as quickly as they stab each other in the throat with knives and bottles after being detained. It is a miniature version of the series. Nothing that occurs affects what occurs next. Promises and threats are forgotten. In MobLand, the only thing that counts is that we move on to the next scenario before we have to face the consequences of what has just transpired.